But this person is a massive influencer with over 1,000 agents nationally, over the globe, $1 billion+ in production, massive local team of over 400 agents, co-founder of Dead Agent Society, and a dear, dear friend, Bobby Davidowicz. Let's go.
Check him out now.
Turn that up, Miguel.
Check him out now.
All right, where's my clicker? Is this it right here? All right. You press the button in the middle? Yeah. Cool. All right, well, you guys just experienced one of my dreams. I've always wanted to come out to Big Pimpin'. So you guys were here for that. Miguel literally asked me, he's like, hey, man, what do you want to come out to? I'm like, Big Pimpin'. And he said, you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. All right, so real quick, guys, have you ever been in a situation when you're seeing like a group of people and it was something about them and you raise your hand and it's like, I want to be a part of those people. Like, I want to be a part of that group. And you didn't know why, but you're like, I want to be a part of it. Happened to you. I think it happened to me in like 4th grade for the first time. So I was in 4th grade, and sometime between the year, these boys started to wear these jerseys to school every single Friday, right? And they were all come in, and they were like this cool kids club. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. And I don't know what it is, but I want to be a part of that. And then there was these girls that would follow them around in these really short skirts. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. So that started my 9-year football career. But I joined that team, and it made all the difference, right? It really makes a difference who you are around, because I believe, oh, that's the click. That's not the clicker. Hold on. This? Oh, it's the big button. I'm stupid. Look, I believe you are who you surround yourself with. Who would agree? Right? You've been programmed in your life. Your mom would tell you, choose your friends. We've been programmed, but it's just a phrase, right? You don't realize how important it is to get older, to get into business, how important the people who are around you are, right? And how much of a difference it actually makes in how far you go in life. It really is that important. So I'll give you an example. I watched this guy speak on stage about 3 years ago. I was in Mexico. I was in a real estate conference. He's not a real estate guy. Well, he is. He does private lending. He's worth about $100 million, and he's talking on stage, so obviously I'm listening. And I'm watching this guy, and he starts explaining his beliefs and his philosophies and his principles on wealth. And this is what he said. He said, look, I believe in 3 things. Make money, do good, have fun, right? And he asked the crowd, he's like, I always ask the crowd, what's the most important thing, right? Is it make money, do good, have fun? He was like, most people will say do good. Some people will say have fun. And he said, no, you got to make the money first so you could do more good and have more fun. And I said, I want to be a part of that. Right? So I actually approached this guy off the stage. I said, I love what you were saying. I want to get to know a little bit more about what you're talking about. And the funny thing happened is he was like, well, look, just get my assistant's, contact information, follow up with me. And I did. And, this guy's worth $100 million, so, he's probably a busy guy. But I would follow up with him every few months. Like, hey, man, I'm in Orlando. If you need a real estate guy in Orlando, I'm your guy, right? Like, I want to connect with you. I want to stay connected. And then sure enough, about 6 months later, I get a text, and it's from this guy. And he said, Bobby, I want to get on a call with you. And I'm like, holy shit, guy worth $100 million wants to get on a call with me. I was like, this is amazing. So I talked to him, and he's like, look, Bobby, I'm forming this group, and the group is called Access, right? And he's like, it's a group of one percenters, right? People who are in the top income, right? And they're looking to optimize their family, their life, their business. And he's like, but I'm going to tell you something. He's like, you're probably going to be the poorest person in the group. And you would think I would be insulted, but I wasn't insulted, was I, Josue? That was the selling point to me. I was like, sign me up, because I want to be in a group with people up here, right? I don't want to be the smartest person in the group, and I damn sure don't want to be the richest one, right? If you're trying to move up, right? And the group was called Access, and it's probably the best name he could have ever thought for this group, because I will tell you that through this group and through the past few years I've been a part of this group, I've realized that a lot of us, all of us in this room are talented, but if you don't know the right people, you're not going to get certain places. And that's just bottom line. There are people who you will meet in this life that will propel you 20 years into the future because they can move big pieces, because they're big people, right? They've built something big, and you have one conversation, and they move you right to the front of the line. That's how important access is. That's how important it is. So this was the football team I joined, right? When I was in the 4th grade, I told you, it made a big impact on my life. And the funny thing is I didn't know how much of an impact it was having, though. I could tell you right now I would not be the person I am if I didn't join sports, right? The principles that were taught, the 9 years that I played football, I just wouldn't be the person you see right now on this stage because of the things I learned about being a part of this culture, about this team, right? And years later, I realized, man, we were pretty good. We almost never lost. Like, that team almost never lost. The Pop Warner team I was a part of for many years almost never lost a game. And I realized it's because we had a culture of success. We had a culture of success, right? It was a standard. If you were going to be a part of this team, you were going to play at this level. And that's how important being a part of the right team is. Because the things that you used to think are hard aren't hard if the standards are high, right? So I realized, oh my God, this is such a big deal. Like, I used to always talk, like, if you guys know me, you know I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. So I'm always talking about Tony Robbins, right? And people are like, I used to say I'm part of the Tony Robbins cult. And people used to laugh and say, hey, you know, Bobby's drinking the Kool-Aid. And you know what? I am drinking the Kool-Aid. Because here's the deal. Everybody in this room is drinking something. But what are you drinking? Right? What are you drinking? Who are you around? What are you absorbing every day? All of us get programmed by all the things that are around us, so we need to do an audit. We talked about doing an audit. You need to audit the people who are around you, right? And that doesn't make them bad or good. You just need to be very, very intentional. You want to dominate 2022? I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm intentional about the circles I hang around because I don't want to be around people who aren't talking about big dreams and big actions because that's who I want to be around, okay? So funny thing happened the other day. We were giving out some awards for the top producers in our office, right? Tia, if you're still here, you're only not pictures because you left early. I knew she was going to bitch at me about that. But with the top producers in the office, right? And something really amazing happened, right? Gil got these young ladies up on stage, and he was asking them, I mean, like, the one on the right did $20 million in sales in her 2nd year of real estate. She literally set a new standard, right? But Gil went up to all of them. He was interviewing them. He was saying, hey, everybody talks about the big accolades and everything like that. Tell us about that time you thought about quitting. And the first thing they said was, oh, we never thought about quitting. And all of the ladies on that stage repeated it. Every time he went to interview them, he was like, I never thought about quitting. And I thought to myself, this is what happens when quitting is not an option. It's a standard. These ladies had a standard. Quitting was not an option. You only had to make it. Because I could tell you, I saw Tia when she started, right? And she was all over. I mean, I saw her crying in the lobby. And she knows that I'll tell these stories, and because she knows how far she's come. I've known her for 7 years now. She was not the person you see polished on stage right now, right? But she fought through it. You know why? Because quitting wasn't an option. So here's what I got to tell you. Culture is just a set of beliefs. So I know some of you guys are new agents, experienced agents, team leaders, there's everything in this room, but when I'm talking about teams and I'm talking about culture, it doesn't have to be any one of those things. It can be anything, any group that you're around. That's culture, and all culture is a set of beliefs. So when somebody joins my organization, we take them through something called the launch session. The launch session is really to talk about who we are and what we believe. Because if you know what I believe, I'm going to attract the right people towards me. Here's what we tell them in the launch session. Here's one of our first beliefs. You're the magic, right? Hey, guys, logos don't sell real estate, you do. Brands don't sell real estate, you do. You're the magic. Your personal brand, which we talked about that today, is the brand you can take anywhere. Doesn't matter what industry, doesn't matter what brokerage. It's your personal brand that matters, so build that. I don't give a crap if you mention the brokerage that we're a part of. I really don't. Not even, we call ourselves the Alliance Group. I tell agents all the time, you don't have to include the Alliance Group in anything you do. I want you to market you, your brand. Build something special with your personal brand. Next thing we tell them is leaders create leaders. We believe leaders create leaders. We're saying from the beginning, we expect you to be a leader. And I always say leaders that create coaches. Because I can tell you right now that you just saw a few ladies up on stage that swore in their life they would never be on stage coaching. And they were up here. I knew that Jennifer kind of see on at the beginning. Jen, you still here? Jen, were you like, when I met you 7 years ago, you were like, can I get on stage, please? Can I coach? That was you? Hell no, she wasn't saying that. But we have a standard that you're going to become a leader, and you're going to create other leaders, because if you want a culture to grow on itself, you have to continually build leaders, right? Because it can't be purely on your efforts. Your culture can't be built purely on your efforts. You have to continue building leaders that create leaders. That's how you keep it going. Then finally, and this I got to give credit to my partner Gil, who you've obviously heard about, apparently. Actions get results. We tell the agents right off the bat, don't be a secret agent. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to be perfect before you start. I'm going to tell you that right. I've coached agents for 5 years. That's their number one mistake. They're trying to be perfect before they start, right? Let me learn everything in real estate, and then I'll tell people I'm in it. Well, you're on your way to going broke. Yeah, you know, because they don't pay you every 2 weeks in real estate, right? You're watching your bank account and go, okay, I'm going to wait till I'm perfect. You'll wait till you're broke, okay? Actions get results. That's what we believe in our culture. The only mistake you can make is not take action. In our culture, we tell people, hey, you can screw all sorts of stuff up. If you have the right heart and right intention, I guarantee you I can fix it. But don't sit there and not take action. If you sat here today and listened to all the speakers today and these panels and this fire, and you took some nuggets down and you don't take action, you're making a big mistake, okay? Anybody read this book? Okay, read it again. I'm telling you, this book is amazing. You should read it every single year, right? If you haven't gotten this yet, I'm big into personal development, and I believe that you should be eating personal development for breakfast. Like, you need to wake up with personal development. Personal development needs to be everything all the time. So here's the deal. There's a kind of a magical thing that happens when it comes to culture and teams, and it says it right in this book. They call it the power of the mastermind, right? And a special thing happens when 2 or more minds get together, and they're aligned in harmony, and they have a definite purpose. It's a crazy thing. Here's the things it talks about. There's something called I call it the compounding energy, which is you build a greater energy between 2 people than you could with each other individually, and it's contagious. It's contagious. I swear, in our group, I am amazed every single day. There's people honestly, there's people crushing me in all sorts of areas in our group, and I couldn't be happier because they are just growing and growing and growing, but it's just that energy. That's why our office is always, and people say our office is lit. It's just this energy that people are growing, that we're going chasing dreams together. And then the other thing is kind of a spiritual thing, and we can't really quantify it, but it's called infinite intelligence. And here's what the book says about that. It says, when 2 or more people coordinate in a spirit of harmony and work toward a definite objective, they place themselves in position through that alliance to absorb power directly from the great universal storehouse of infinite intelligence. This is the greatest of all sources of power. It is the source to which the genius turns. It is the source to which every great leader turns, whether conscious of the fact or not. And you've been in groups with certain people where you've been talking to them and these ideas just spring up because you guys are just in alignment and you're tapping into the infinite intelligence. I can't show it to you. I could just show you results. And the results should be enough. Okay, so let me tell you that masterminds can happen anywhere. Okay, these are 2 of my favorite masterminds. Carlos, if you're watching this, Carlos, this here I call this the play date mastermind, and I call this one the bathroom mastermind. This is the bathroom mastermind. So you can have masterminds anywhere. You only need 2 people. So I like to show this because the one on the top left is when I first met Carlos. Gil was like, "Hey man, you got to meet this guy named Carlos. You got to align with him, man. He's vibrating in our energy, man. He's growth mindset." And we were at Gil Kid's birthday, and we just went in the play area, and we had our first meeting, man. It was a special time, Carlos. I really appreciate that. Then we did another event one time, and then we ended up in the Gil was like, "Hey, man, we need to go mastermind." I'm like, "In the bathroom?" And I'm like, he's like, "Yeah, man, we need to talk right now." I'm like, "Man, this is weird." But here's what we came up with in the bathroom mastermind. So we came up with a set of beliefs. This was over 3 years ago, Carlos, and we never actually written these down, but this is what I believe we came up in that bathroom, okay? Number 1 is we believe in collaboration over competition. We believe that the industry's been hurt by all the competition, that we need to collaborate. We need to open the book, right? Number 2 is a growth mindset. We want people to grow. See, the problem in the old model of real estate is that certain leaders don't want to see people grow too much because if they grow, they leave. It's not that what they want, because my ex-partner was a traditional broker, but he told me, behind closed doors, he's like, the problem that I'm having is I want to give the agents more opportunity, but I know I can't, right? And so we believed in a growth mindset. If you want to grow, we're going to help you grow, because if you grow, we grow. And that's a whole different ball game, okay? And then finally, my favorite, death of the agent, rise of the real estate entrepreneur, okay? So we have a coaching company called Dead Agent Society, because here's the truth, 87% of agents die in this industry in the first 2 years. They don't make it out of the first 2 years, 87%. And it's because we're thinking like agents, right? We're not putting those systems in place. We're not listening to Josue who say, hey, look, I did it the hard way. Do it the smart way. Build this like a business so you can have financial freedom one day. Don't just buy yourself another job. There's a difference between being self-employed and being a business owner. Being self-employed means you just own your own job. I don't want to own my own job. I want to own my own business so that I can build something. So we need to start thinking like entrepreneurs. We need to invest in our business. We need to put our marketing together. Stop thinking about this game transactionally. It's not a transactional game if you build it like an entrepreneur, okay? And it's worked out. We got a pretty lit squad, you know, and here's the deal. It's just energy attracts energy. And, you know, Jennifer said it really well. You know, I don't want to roll with everybody, just the people who believe in the things I believe in. And it turns out there's a lot of people who believe in growth and collaboration and financial freedom. It's fantastic. So for those people, who actually runs a team, organization, and brokerage in the room? Okay, we got a good amount. So this is more for people who are like, hey, I already got a team. How do I keep this going? Because at the end of the day, I told you, you can't keep trading hours for dollars, right? You can't be the only energy spark in your culture. So here's a little acronym I came up with to keep culture going. So number one is, the first C in CC is connectivity. You want agents and team members to build bonds within each other. That's why we have events like this. I've got people in my office starting other businesses with each other. I have people who are best friends and go out together. I have people who are forming their own little cliques and masterminds. There's like 10 teams in my office. I can't even name them all. Power team, ambassador team, evolution team, empire team, next gen team. Like, they're all forming their own families and their own cliques because they're building bonds with each other. Now, that doesn't have anything to, like, we might have been a catalyst to that. The beliefs might have been a catalyst, but they're running with this, and they will keep running with it, okay? The next E is empowering leaders, providing opportunities to step up. We talked about it before, which is, look, you know, Jen said she would never get on stage and speak, but one day we were like, hey, Jen, we need you to get up there. Hey, we need you to get on the panel. And we gave her an opportunity to step up as a leader, and guess what? She came up and she did it, and she felt confident. And she took one step closer to being a leader. Now, I can't even keep up with the girl. You know what I mean? By the way, that's who recruited me. Years and years ago, 7 years ago, was Jenna Canacion at a bar, because that's where apparently I hang out. The next C is celebrating achievements. Make sure you celebrate the small wins, the big wins, the blessings. You got to be celebrating, right? Because we're always going to next levels, but we have to celebrate things. It could be a birthday. It could be the first closing. It could be anything. We need to have a system for celebration. It's part of the reason we work Celebration Title Group. They get it. They get celebrating special moments, and you got to consistently do that, right? And then finally, efficiency, which is not a sexy word, but basically what I mean by this is, how easily do we make this accessible? How many events are we putting together? How are we making the events, the tools, the coaching, all these things accessible to the people you're doing? If you put together these 4 things, culture will grow on itself. You will not have, at some point, I'm not even going to recognize this thing. It's already happening for us. I could tell you, I got shut out of one of our agents' events the other day. Like, they did their own event, right? And I texted them that I was coming. They're like, did you register? I was like, did I register? They're like, yeah, the venue says, you know, if you didn't register, you know, because, you know, we're at capacity and all this stuff. And I was like, no, well, I guess I'm not going. And you know what? I wasn't sad about that either. That means that leaders are growing. They're doing their own thing, right? And finally, I'll leave you with this. Don't just be on a team, add to the team. Don't just be on the team, add to the team. Some people get on teams just to take, right? You need to be the kind of person that can give to a team, and you don't actually have to have knowledge to give to a team. It could be just your energy. It could be your experience. It could be your ideas, right? Add to the team. Don't be the type of team member to join a squad. I'm a part of many teams. I'm a leader of a team, but I'm a part of like 15 teams. I've told you about Access, part of Honey Badger Nation, all this stuff. I want to make sure I'm going to be a value add to a team. I want people to notice that I'm here to also give back, to contribute while I'm on the team, okay? And you might ask yourself, how do I find this? How do I find a team? How do I get into this? And I did this the other week at at our office, and we get paralyzed by the word how. You guys are looking for a very complicated formula all the time, and we call it paralysis by analysis, right? You look, how do I do this? How do I get into the BR team? And if you're looking for your how, it's right here. Show up. You guys are doing that today. Show up. Every opportunity I've ever gotten is by showing up. I show up. I don't know what's going to happen. I show up. When you meet with a client, set up an appointment. You know why you got to set up an appointment? Because you got to show up before you know what kind of deal you're going to get, right? And you don't know what kind of opportunities you're going to get. So I'll leave you with this. I don't know where your team lives, but it ain't at your house. So give yourself a hand for showing up today. Oh, there he is. I'm staying up for this panel, Carlos.
Yes. So while the chairs get brought up here, I gotta tell you guys, being part of a winning culture is going to take your business to heights you never thought were possible. That's what Bobby's talking about. How can you be surrounded by winners, by people that think bigger? You either are coachable and are hungry and are smart, and you realize that, I need to plug into a community, right? Like Bobby went to Access, which is, a billionaires community. There's people, like we go to NAREP, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, the Young Professional Realtors. I don't know, find where the top producers are, and if you believe the top producers are here, then ask around. How do I become part of this community? If you're not already part of it, and if you are part of it and you're not plugged in, what are you doing, right? Plug in, empower yourself.